What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. So today we're going to do a build. This season's not too exciting with gear, and I still feel like we need to give it a go, give it a shot, and kind of see if it's okay or not. Now, I'm going to preference all of that by saying there's no way any of this gear added this patch is best in slot. Does it mean we can't use it? No, not if we're a bit bored and we want to kind of make some builds and just maybe play a little bit differently. And that's kind of what this season's build videos are all going to be about. They're certainly not going to be best in slot videos, but they might give us the opportunity to play a little bit different, or maybe even play with some guns and gear that we don't usually play with. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and let's get straight into what I'm using in this first one. Right off the rip with this one today, I wanted to check out the Eagles Grasp gloves. I think these actually could fare pretty well with quite a few builds because of this magazine size, making our sustained damage anyway better. But is that going to take away from using things like Bloody Knuckles and Contractor's gloves? Probably not. Well, it's not, but we're going to give them a first shot and we're going to give them a go. And I'm on PC, but people on console using controller might think this weapon handling and the extra magazine size is actually worth quite a lot. So we are going to give them a fair chance. We are going to give them a try. I have got another build that I'm thinking about, but I've not quite got one piece that I need to try and get. So that's the gloves that we're going to talk about for these, because we're definitely going to try out this rifle damage and weapon handling as well. Because if you think about it, with 3 pieces of this, you hit 45% weapon handling without anything else, and that is a huge amount. We're also going to try out the Acosta's knees. I did a video on how you can re-roll these. I got crit chance and armor regen because I think as an all red builder generally this is going to be the best, but they have the escape plan talent on. So vaulting grants you 10% movement speed for 3 seconds. After not moving for 5 seconds, you get a 20% movement speed buff for 5 seconds. But then when you are being applied a status effect, grant 10% movement speed for 5 seconds. The max speed bonus is the 20% because the bonuses do not stack. That's not really the most interesting part of these. The most interesting part is this at the bottom, the minus 50% movement impairment penalty from status effects. We tested this out in the PTS and it does substantially help with the shield break, kind of debuff that you get when you get your shield broken, and everyone kind of hates that in PvE. I see why it's there for PvP, but for PvE it's just like, meh, why is it even in the game? But what we are going to try out is, well, we're going to use the backfire. Kind of makes sense. Now, the reason we're going to use the backfire is that obviously when you reload, it applies bleed to you. Applying bleed to us is going to give us a movement speed buff. But also, I'm hoping that the movement impairment penalty kind of takes away that sway that you get from when you are bleeding as well. Other things we've done here is build in some survivability. We're going to run 3 blues. We're also going to run Bloodsucker as well. And we're kind of just going to hope that this is okay. I have also built into the theme that we are getting extra magazine size bullets. So there's 15% there as well. We are running 3-piece Brazos for an extra 50% here as well. And along with that, at the bottom of our backfire, we've got another 12% there, giving us 88 rounds in our mag. Now, the reason for that as well is that if we're using all the rounds in the mag, we are also going to be applying bleed to us less. So giving us more chance to, take the damage from the backfire as well. And like I said, this is definitely not going to be, outstandingly amazing best BIS slot, but it is a chance to maybe use the backfire, have a little bit of fun with it, rather than just using the chatterbox or the Ouroboros, for instance. So I'll go through the build in much more detail at the end of the video, but let's hop over to Air and Space Museum, give this a go and see if it's going to be any good. If you have got any builds that you want me to try out, let me know in the comments down below. Alright, so we're at Air and Space Museum. We're on Heroic as always, so let's give this a go and see how we get on. This first bit is the most difficult because there's a little bit of spread out on the enemies, especially when using SMG. It can be annoying. but we will see how we get on.
The enemy's out of cover.
Taking a bit of punishment there. Look at the regen. So the regen's decent, right, on the build, that's for sure. I don't think you can afford to absolutely face tank. But you certainly can build up enough bonus armor. If you wanted to, I suppose you could add another blue to the build, but as it looks there, that really does feel like it's enough for me. You just gotta play, maybe play behind some walls a little bit and play wise. It is heroic after all. If you're wondering why that's there, I started the entire video and I had it on challenging because I was doing easy level ups. And thought, I'm not showing anything here because I'm not doing it on any kind of difficulty. The other thing that is annoying is you could see that it was hard to see him when we were bleeding, but I'm definitely not being impaired at all by the bleed. The only thing that you do get impaired by is your actual, your visual stance on it, that it can make people a little bit harder to see. We'll do this next section, and I think that kind of proves that it kind of works alright. If you don't want it, you know, if you want to use the backfire, and there's easily enough damage in it. And having the 80 odd bullets in the gun's pretty sexy actually. Get some bonus armor off the mission objective, which is really nice. Looking reload when you don't need to. Really nice.
Reinforcements incoming. Keep moving. We need to clear the next hole.
Yeah, I mean this is actually pretty sweet, and it's nice to use this gun as well, the backfire. And obviously it's only on level 10 expertise, so you could quite easily pump that up nowadays significantly more. So let's head back to the White House and I'll go over the build and show you exactly what I've done. And obviously the options where if you want to put some more blues into it, you absolutely can. So first of all, obviously the backfire. I was level 10 expertise. Comparing it to the Ouroboros, you can see that the RPM is far less, but you can pump the damage up significantly higher on the backfire, and it gets a few extra bullets in the magazine with this build only, but that's because obviously I've got damage target cover on the bottom. You could drop this 12% magazine size here and have damage target out of cover. I probably would do that if I had an abundance of exotic components, but if you saw one of my previous videos where I've got a gambling problem, I'm a bit short on them right now. Other guns, just use whatever you want. Gunner was the obvious choice because it's got 10% armor on kill, and we want that survivability in there as well. Now, as far as other pieces go, we're going to build in for 3 Brazos, 1 PS. These can be absolutely in any place that you want. For instance, if you wanted to have a, one of these, because you've got yourself a nice palisade chest piece, I could have used this one as well. Also, the core attribute could have been blue for this as well, making blue pieces and red pieces for this build really easy to come by, because obviously this as well, this new set rolls as red, so that's easy to get a red there. You have to have a blue here, so to split the core attributes up, really easy. The chest piece, the backpack is 10% armor on kill again from the palisade, giving us 20. I think that's kind of important again for survivability. Weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and a critical hit damage mod with Bloodsucker, which I find absolutely great. If you didn't want to run this though, you could just throw on a Memento. I know a lot of people like Memento as well, so either of these would do a fantastic job here. Then you're going to want to run 3 Brazos. Skill haste and skill tier don't really give us too much to it, but it does give us a pulse back a little bit quicker, and it will give you some more survivability if you were running a shield. Weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and critical hit damage here. Then for the chest piece, I went with I kept it as a blue core attribute, crit chance, crit damage, and obliterate. But if you wanted to put even more survivability into this build, you could run unbreakable here as well. And then Picaro's holster, no brainer, has to come as a blue or a yellow here, so I took the blue. Crit damage, weapon damage, and it fulfills their 3 set piece bonus. The new Acosta's knee pads that you need to get from the season track before you're able to drop these. With the escape plan talent that we talked about earlier on, I re-rolled these until I got crit chance and armor regen on them. The new Eagle Grasp gloves, weapon damage, weapon handling, and I put critical hit damage on the bottom of mine here as well, giving us that 15% magazine size. And then, like I said, these are the skills that I went for. If we look at the stats, it gives us 60% crit chance and 146% critical hit damage and 70% headshot damage, which is no slouch. When we look at the backfire talent, dealing damage to enemies adds and grants a stack of 1% critical hit damage up to 200 stacks, which will last 10 seconds. On reload, we apply the bleed to ourselves and it deals 0.5% armor damage, but that's negated by the fact that we are running a survivability in and the bonus armor. So really, really good, and it doesn't cause us any sway whatsoever because of the new knee pads. Like I said, these new pieces are definitely not breaking the game when it comes to damage, but it was nice to kind of put a build together with 2 of the new pieces in. That if you're going to run any heroic with it and you want to use the backfire because you like the gun and you don't really want to have to build in hazard protection everywhere, you'd rather just go full damage, this is actually the chance now. This actually works really, really well. That's going to be it for the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe because this whole fit looks absolutely amazing, especially with the gun theme as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, agents. Goodbye.